Hi everyone, my name's Jim from WildGravityTravels.com, and we are checking out our latest mine blower update, our newest look. And since last time, which was almost about 2 weeks ago now, we were on vacation last week, so we didn't get a chance to bring you an update. Sorry about that. So since our last update, we've seen the install pretty much of these turns, these low turns here, including that 90-degree turn right here, that 90-degree bank turn up high. And then this lower turn, which of course goes into the brake run, goes up and over a crossover section. The crossover section actually comes out of that double down and goes across. Another change that we can see from this angle, and we'll take a look at from some other angles, is the completion of, not completion, but the top-off completion of the upper level supports. At this point they're just going to be laying track and cross beams up there for track if they haven't already. We'll get a couple different angles of that, as I mentioned before. So here we see some crew members just hanging out on this turn, doing some work. We're not sure if they're into the steel work yet. Doesn't look like they are, though they could be in certain areas at this point. So we'll be taking a look at that as well coming up in just a few moments from All Around Mine Blower here at Fun Spot Kissimmee. Stay tuned. So here's a little bit of a wider shot from where we just were. We were up there looking up almost to that trash can area, but here's a better shot. So on the left side is where you come off the lift, go downhill just a little bit, and then that big drop is there in the background there beyond the white supports. And here again is the two lower turns that we can see, the 90-degree turn and the lower ground turn that is returning to the brake run in the station. So we're going to head on inside the park and take a look at these and other features from various angles. So here we are taking a look at the 90-degree turn, or going into the 90-degree turn from our usual first inside the park angle here. And something we noticed not on the 90-degree turn, but on this return to station area, and even on some areas of the first drop, if you look really closely as we zoom in there, the metal plates that we were the first to show you out in the supply lot and the side guard plates in the supply lot are actually now being put in place. So the track is literally being completed in several places across the ride. Even about halfway up the first drop where you'll be coming down, you can see where the plates are and where they leave off right now. So that is our first look at the track being installed all across Mine Blower. And as we turn this way and take a look, we can see that we finally see the development of that inline twist, or that barrel roll that goes over the station. Here you see the track coming up that we've been talking about for a while now. And you can finally see it going into some supports here in this white structure. And this white structure is actually what they're working on the second half right now, bolting into place. You can see the crane there going up, and that's where you'll actually be upside down, is right there in the middle between those two support structures. And that will be the roll coming back out to the turns on the other side, which look to be going in a little more than what we'd seen in the past in our last update. So we'll be going down there to take a look at that. We will have to be going around as the pathway is blocked for crane work, obviously, right now. So again, we're seeing a lot of track work take place all over the place. It looks like that first drop is pretty much completed almost to the valley with its steel installation, the rails for the coaster. You can see them again right here, looking through the white support structure and all around there. So definitely a good sign as we start to see track work take place on Mine Blower. We'll be checking out that barrel roll from a few more angles for sure. And here again we can see one last time the top of the lift where it turns around, and looks like the top of the lift there where we see the supports for the sprockets for the chain return, lift hill chain return, are pretty much done. Hopefully we can get a nice wide angle shot of that from the other side as well coming up. So from across the water here, we can see, starting off with the lift and the top of the lift there, we can see that turnaround area that we talked about that's now completed, or pretty much completed other than track work obviously. But the support structure itself is all up there now. And then as we pan over, we take a look at that inline twist. We're going to see this from several faraway angles most likely. But here's our first look, and you can see that wide gap over the station platform coming into form right now. And that's actually where it's gonna barrel roll over. So it's coming up from the left side out of that first drop, barrel rolling over the station, and then going into these turns over here, coming down pretty quickly into those turns. So that'll be really exciting to check out and see once Mine Blower opens. So here's a look at the structure. Looks like they're about to lift another piece into place. We might make it around the corner to catch that. If not, we'll see it rise above right here at this cable. So we're going to see that piece come up most likely here in just a moment. Looks like they're working on this end. So they're probably going to be making a rectangular box of white supports. Just on this side is what they're working on right now. We would guess that with the two workers sitting here. Not really sure how they're going to accomplish the over the station. They may just use a couple cross beams and let the track kind of freehold itself based on the two supports, almost like a bridge section, if you will. So here is actually, this side is where you're going to come out of the inline twist again, or the barrel roll. You'll come out of this side here, twist over the station, as I've said many times, and come out to this side. And you can see almost like that 90-degree support we told you about last week, right in this area. That is where I would guess as you come out of the inversion that you would go through that track right there and dive in for the rest of the ride on the coaster. So it looks like they're not quite ready to lift that piece yet. We're going to go around the corner and take a look at it from a little bit different of an angle, and then head on out to the parking lot and get a look at the new turns that are developing on Mindblower. So here we come around the corner, we see them lifting that full-size support into place. It looks like it is going to support, be an inline twist support. You can see the support structure for that going up right now. Oops, too far on the zoom, sorry there. So we see the supports right here coming into place. And the crane is going to be lifting that up. So again, this piece will be swung into place. Looks like it'll be up where those guys are. And it'll be a continuation. See, we already see the supports up there for the track, where you'll be rolling back upright from being upside down. And then that, again, the piece they're moving right now is just a continuation piece of that. So we can see the piece is pretty much in place now as they get ready to bolt it into place. There, as I kind of predicted, it's going in right there next to the other supports for the coming out of the inline twist. And again, this will all be coming out of the first drop, going down and around and on up into that twist there, and then coming down into these turns. And here you can see the turns over here. You can see the back side of those turns. We'll be checking those out from a different angle here in just a moment. But really cool to check out them lowering support structure into place, especially for an inversion, one of the key elements of Mindblower here at Fun Spot Kissimmee. Here on this side of the site, where things are a little bit calmer, we see the track being moved over to the site. And here we see that steel bender that we talked about and saw over in the supply lot before, and saw it when it appeared. This is the track they're going to be using, obviously going on the track right now. Looks like on the lift hill, they appear to be pretty much up the top of the hill at this point in time. And we can see those turns finally going in this corner. So I guess we can no longer call it the quiet corner with the supports all up in place now. The track layout pretty much completed other than that inline twist at this point. As we see several supports up. And we're going to go on around here and get a look at the turns, the sweeping turns that go into place. And here's one right through the fence here. You can see a really nice low to the ground turn, which is really cool. And that one appears to be coming out of the inline twist up here, where we just saw the support go into place and you hear them hammering at now. It comes down and around, right here low to the ground, almost right on the ground basically. And then appears to come up and go into our double down element right here, which of course heads for the 90-degree turn, and then eventually heads back and so on and so forth, back and forth, twisting in and out of itself. Now really cool here, something we hadn't quite predicted. This looks to be a more than 90-degree bank turn, almost an overbank turn, if you will. Pretty much is an overbank turn actually, coming out. So they're still working on the woodwork, and it's very early on in the process here. as we saw the rest of the area go up. You see these lower support structures going in place. No sign of the tunnel inside yet. We do, however, through the fence see an air conditioning unit, it looks like, most likely for that shed housing all the electrical equipment here in Florida. So this is a really nice look at that turn again. As we back up and take another look shot here, you can see I'm working on the pathway there, but that's a really cool turn. It's at least 90-degree banks. It does look overbanked from the angle I saw it at just a moment ago, or that we saw it at here on video. I'll try to get some good pictures so we can really determine it. So again, here from the construction site, just a lot going on at Fun Spot on Mindblower. Not long now with the layout being complete. At this point we'll be into pretty much track work. It'll become semi-unexciting to watch after they get to that point where they're doing nothing but track work, and then we'll be waiting for the first test run of Mindblower. So coming up next, we'll conclude over from the supply lot across the street and see what is left over there. I imagine there's not a whole lot left over in the supply lot at this point. So stay tuned for that. So one more quick little update from the track site, actually, before we head over to the supply lot. Looking into the lift motor shed before they put a door on it, we can see there the mechanism. That'll be the chain return for pulling the chain through. We see like basically the mountings are all now in place for that, as well as the cooling unit and the electrical unit to run the motor and keep it cool are right here in place as well on the shed. So that's all good for there, and again, this will for sure now conclude our look at the track site of Mindblower. We're going to head on over to the supply lot now and see what we can see from there, and again, see what is left, if anything, of the supplies over there. I imagine there's still some stuff, but not a whole lot. So another exciting development, we couldn't even get out of the construction site here at Mindblower. We're still near the track. We're basically in the parking lot here. And this is the lift hill chain just hanging out in the parking lot. So this is our first look. First I've seen of anybody posting pictures of the lift hill chain arriving. So here's another first for us here at wildgravitytravels.com. We are seeing the lift hill chain on site at Fun Spot America. And this chain, of course, is for the lift hill, which is right here. So we're likely going to see it get installed pretty soon with it just hanging out here in the parking lot. It is completely assembled, it appears, in 4 sections, ready to be hooked together and woven through that lift hill motor. So quite a nice find and surprise as we were leaving the lift hill motor area. So concluding our look at Mindblower with that exciting lift hill chain find ready for installation in 4 pieces. We're back here next to the track pieces that are still over on this side. Now again, we did see a lot of that track getting installed on the first drop and a couple other places around the ride, like the brake run. However, still a lot more to go, still a lot to do in Mindblower, which is opening this summer, so we expect it to take at least a few more weeks before we see some test runs, maybe a couple more, especially with them still working on the inline twist, some of the baseboarding in places. But you can see a lot of the woodwork in that main lot over there is missing, or pretty much gone. Not missing, it's accounted for, but it's not in the supply lot anymore. But we can see a lot of the rails are still here. A lot of these supply rails here. It looks like the main piles they've taken off is that first stack over there. You can see there's only a couple of rails left sitting there, not much there. And then definitely more supports to be done as we walk over here really quickly. You can see a lot more white pieces out here, a lot more white support structure in place. So I'd imagine we got a while to go before we truly see the coaster start to come into form. Now, however, when they do complete the track work or the baseboard work, remember that they do have another machine for bending the steel for the track, so they can actually work twice as fast once they hit that point. So that's going to be how we know they're speeding up or they're getting close to the end. I would say that's how we'll tell. So definitely some exciting developments here at Mindblower today with the sighting, with our first ever sighting of the lift hill chain being on site, the inline twist or barrel roll inversion going into place, the supports for it anyway going into place, and I'm sure by next week we'll have an inversion to show you. So be sure to watch our Twitter feed, Facebook feed, and Instagram for that first picture of the barrel roll going in We'll be checking out the site almost every day this week until we see that barrel roll appear. From Fun Spot Kissimmee, my name is Jim from WildGravityTravels.com. Once again, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page if you haven't already. Thank you to all our loyal followers following these updates and more, as well as check out our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, as I just mentioned, Wild Gravity Travels. On Twitter, it's at WildGravityTRVL. Have a great week at the parks, a great week ahead. Happy season, happy coaster season to all my fans and friends up north, as all the parks are now open for the season and open for coaster riding.